Thank you very much. Guys, welcome to once again the Ozu Interviews. Possibly the last one, sadly, as we are completing the top 10 this week. Okay, let me close this. Thank you for the follow, but I need to close the alert too. Holy shit, that scared me. Okay, so possibly the last interview in that series, because I said we were going to do the top 10, and Sentence is closing that top 10. I am quite happy to have them on the interview this week. It's a guild that I don't really know. I know Dex because he lost a death roll to me. That's pretty much how I know him. But I don't know much about this guild. I don't know nothing about the history, where they come from, what they did, who are they, and so on and so forth. So I think it's going to be super interesting to get to know them, get to see how they what was their thinking, mostly in Nax. This is what I want to know. What were their struggle with, and what tips do they have, and also where they are going in TBC. So enough of me babbling as usual. Let's get right into the business of thing. We have as well, I forgot to say, we have two people tonight from Sentence. So I'm really pleased to welcome Dex, the GM of Sentence, but also Flor, officer of Sentence. Guys, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Ozu interview. How are you doing tonight? Let's start with Dex.
I'm good, thank you. I was looking forward to be here, but I think my guildies were looking forward to it more.
Flor?
Hello, everyone. Amazing. Happy to be here.
Well, cheers to you guys. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot of fun. So, without further ado, I want to know your experience as a World of Warcraft player. Did you play vanilla? Did you play retail? Up to where actually did you play? What expansion? What class? So on and so forth. So let's start with Flor this time, maybe.
Started the original vanilla from the beginning on a server called Alakir. I played Alliance.
Okay.
Pretty decent guild.
What class?
Paladin and Druid.
Okay, so you play both. Okay.
Yeah. And we killed, I think, 8 bosses in Nax, and then I quit the game pretty much for reasons. But yeah, it was a good time, and so I had some scores still left to be settled in Nax. So that's why I'm back.
So you're part of the few guilds that actually stepped foot in Nax back then in vanilla, right? The few guilds that stepped foot, not only stepped foot, but actually did quite well, quite okay, by killing 8 bosses. Let's remember that back then it's not like it is today, right? People like there was a really low percentage of guild clearing Nax, clearing AQ, clearing Nax. Did you play?
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, if you look at how the level of dedication and the knowledge we brought to our raids and in the game is just uncomparable.
Yeah, of course. The knowledge, 15 years of knowledge, and the information as well. We hear it. Anyway, I hear it and I see it quite a lot lately because of TBCs coming. But they say today the information is readily available because of those 15 years, of those 10 years of private server and so on. So we can compare today versus back then. It's a whole new game, a whole new meta. For sure. Did you play retail?
Yes. I did not enjoy the last expansion.
Shadowland or BFA?
Well, I think Cataclysm is where I just stopped, but I did play it with some friends, but the story doesn't really appeal to me either.
Okay.
It's just a different game.
Indeed it is. Dex now.
I played in the original vanilla as well. Actually, the guild that we started today was with some of the friends that that I met during vanilla. So I played in vanilla. I played my warrior, and we made a guild together. I guess towards the end when AK-40 was already out, and we progressed through Molten Core and Blackmoon Lair while people were doing Naxxramas. I actually never set foot in AK-40 or Naxxramas during vanilla. So for me, everything after Chromagus was actually new. I completed ZG, I completed AK-20. But for me, the biggest challenge actually was as a player to come back and then going further than where I was before. So learning doing the new content. AK-40, I never set foot in there. Naxxramas, I've seen the videos, but I actually never stepped in there. During TBC, our original guild fell apart, and with the core members, we migrated to a different server, and that is where we met pretty much close to the other half of the people that founded the guild. And we raided the whole of the Burning Crusade. We did everything up to Summel, but till the fourth boss. I think the dragon is the last one we killed. I think it's the third one. And so that is my goal for TBC as well. We're definitely moving on to TBC, and for me it will be completing and killing all the content that I haven't done so before. So it's just the last bit, and um, then I went on to Wrath of the Lich King. I pretty much raided Wrath of the Lich King with the same guys. We had our ups and downs, but in the end we killed everything including Lich King Heroic. And that is after that one. That is where I drew the line and called it quits. And I pretty much came back every so often to play a little bit, but never really raiding. All the way up until the point of Battle for Azeroth. After Wrath of the Lich King, I actually moved abroad, so I went from the Netherlands all the way to New Zealand, other side of the world. I lived there for close to 7 years, and then playing with your friends in Europe is really hard. And when I came back in 2018, I was pretty much waiting for World of Warcraft Classic. And when it was announced that Classic was happening, we were still playing games together, and we just said like we're gonna play the same game again. Who's gonna come back? And that is how we founded the same guild. So we came back with a group of 11 people, and that's what we founded the guild with, and that's where we are today.
So it's the same. Is it the same name?
No.
Okay.
No, it's in the during the leveling of vanilla, I had my own guild Dead Squad, and we were a bunch of noobs, so that was great. We were just enjoying the game, having fun, having laughs. And then later on, we joined a guild that rated 5 days a week, so we got to see more content. And then halfway during Blackmoon Lair, we decided we don't want to do this. We want to make our own guild again, and instead of focus on progression, focus on fun. And that is part of the reason why we never really progressed beyond Chromagus.
Okay, fair enough.
And yeah, and we had several guilds over time, and this one it was always created. Let's make a guild and then see where we get. And in the end, we always managed to get like enough people to do reasonable content. Made a lot of good friends, and I think from vanilla, Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King, I think we started playing Classic together with like 20 people, and I think out of those 20, there's still like maybe 5, maybe 10 left that are still playing to this day.
Was it really your goal before Classic came, before Classic was announced, or when it was announced? Was your goal say, okay, this time around I want to clear EQ, I want to clear Nax? Was it really the goal you set before coming back in, or you just came back in, you wanted to play with those 11 friends, and let's see where we can bring this?
Both yes and no. What we decided to do, we all wanted to play classic again. We definitely wanted to play classic again, and we came back, and with that intention, we made the guild as well. We want to focus and prioritize on having fun. So even though we wipe, it doesn't matter as long as you had a good laugh about it. Let's corpse run, and then let's go in again. And that is one of the strongest reasons why we set up this guild, because we have the whole hardcore versus casual level, that guild versus normal guild, and we just said, like, we don't care if we're still running molten core to this day. We just want to do it with friends, and we want to have laughs along the way. And that is, I think, why this guild is why we are so successful as the group. Like, we had a look at the logs of how many people we retained from the start till the end, and we had 7 people in total leave our guild for a different guild, or they got kicked from the guild. And from the rest, from the beginning, and that is from the beginning of classic, and all the way from classic, the start of leveling, all the way up to now, we still have over 50% of the people that we started out with still raiding with us. So that is from molten core all the way to Naxxramas. We had the same 20 people, and every phase we had some people leave, but we got new people into the guild, and we always maintained, it doesn't matter what we do, if someone needs help within the guild, we help them. And we as long as we're having fun, as long as we're laughing, as long as you have tears in your eyes from all the dumb shit that we do, that is what makes it fun for us, and that is something that started at the beginning and it never stopped.
That's why we play these games, to have fun, make friends, play the game we love, raids, all of this. But I think having fun is the primary reason why we play this game, and why we raid with 40 other people every fucking week. So yeah, I do hear you on this.
Yeah, it's the main thing for me. I would say it's like there hasn't been a day where I didn't want to log in and talk with someone. Like, I hate boosting myself, so in general I get boosted all the way to level 60. But if you get your alt to level 60, then I'm more than willing to set out an evening and smash some dungeons, and then do stupid shit along the way. We wipe once, we wipe twice. It doesn't matter, because we're having a laugh and we're giggling and we're talking about life, and we're just it's just all fun and games, and that is yeah, that is what makes it fun for me. Like, if I don't get any loot, if I don't as long as I can keep going, I'm willing to help my guildies wherever and whenever.
Exactly. Good mentality, sir. I like it. Okay, so why choose? So Dex, you call your friend, have a meeting with your 11 friends. You said you wanted to play. How did you come to choose a PvE server, Mirage-Raceway?
For me, I don't have the patience to play PvP. I will literally throw my PC out of the window if I get too frustrated. And like, I don't want to, like, if I'm being, like, I know part of PvP service is being corpse, like, you walk back to your corpse and you get killed again and again and again, and I would say it would cause me so much frustration that I wouldn't enjoy the game anymore. I've been at the hardcore raiding, I've been at the PvP scene, and just, like, I know there's some sense of danger around every corner that might be interesting, but what you see now happening on a lot of the servers, and why people are transferring away, it's just became a game of griefing, and that is I think it's part of the community, but it's also destroying the community, because you have some people that thrive on being successful, of ruining the game for others. Like, if I would lose my world boss because I do some stupid shit, I understand. If I get them, if I lose them because of being purged or being killed, or like, yeah, there's no fun in that. Like, PvP is fine in certain areas, or if you put it on yourself, but I literally won't have the patience for it.
Couldn't agree more. Flor, on your side, why choose a PvE server?
Well, that wasn't my intention. We from that Alakir guild we started with four friends, and we picked a PvP server, but one of them didn't want to play a PvP server for mentioned what Dexel mentioned. So so I lost my name exactly, the normal O on my name because of that. So we re-rolled here, his choice, and then he quit after a week. But but we enjoyed it here, and it was actually kind of relaxing, not getting all the griefing, and so we stuck around. And once I got to 60, I did a few dungeons, started looking around. Maybe I'm jumping ahead, but
no, but yeah, the leveling process for you. So you chose your server, Mirage-Raceway PvE. Your friend quit, so he leave you on the PvE server. How did you level up? What was the route you took, and how did it went?
A lot of questing with the one friend that stuck around and that's still playing with me in Sentence since 2019, and we did a lot of dungeons, and that's where I actually met Dex for the first time in Ulderman. Yeah, and we had another guildie jump in to finish the dungeon for us. I think it was Frosty at the time.
Yeah,
and yeah, we didn't join up right then because I continued leveling, and I met. I think I did a dungeon or two with Daybreak, and then because he also mentioned before in other interviews, and I ended up joining Omen with my friend. And
so did not join Sentence right away.
I wasn't really aware of Sentence, to be honest.
Okay, Dex on your side. The leveling part, yeah.
For me, I actually started 2 days late, but for my side that was a blessing, because I was playing. I worked and then I just got up earlier, so I got up at like 5 or 6 a.m. and then I had to like maybe 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours before work. So the first two days I was leveling on the downside. Well, everybody was lagging out, so I started leveling at 6 a.m. and then friends only got to level 8 in like 4 hours of playing because they just couldn't move anywhere. And for me, I just got ahead of the curve. So in the beginning, I started 2 days late, but I played in the morning, and that way I caught up real quick. And I just quested my butt off, and then in between helped my friends that were lower level with dungeons, so I could still complete my dungeon quest, get certain items, and so I think it released on a Tuesday evening, and then by the time it was Friday night, I was one of the highest levels on the server, and I just tried to stay ahead of the game by constantly questing, making sure that you don't complete every zone all the way until you have done all the quests. You complete the most important quest, and then you move on. That way you don't have to fight for mobs, and that worked fairly well for me. I had several friends that were going all the way with me up to level 30, and then I was getting ahead of them. And then for me, I just started to find and talk to people on the server where like, hey, what are you doing? What quests are you doing? Can we team up for dungeons? I like in vanilla you didn't have the looking for group, so what I did is just like a slash who mage, and then I needed a mage to get some water, and like slash who priest to get me a healer for a dungeon. Like just be proactive and engage with pretty much everyone that could be that was in the area or that like could be on the same stage, and then see if you can make a group. And if we couldn't sort it out ourselves, if someone else was close by, like, hey, can you help out for a moment? We can pay a little bit of coin, or we can just we can do it together. And then that's why during the leveling I made a lot of friends that like during the leveling people knew me for dungeons, for tanking. I didn't have any issues while leveling, and that pretty much worked for me all the way up to level 60. I was one of the first warriors to get to level 60. I think I was the fourth, I was me and I don't know who from Omen, the warrior tank from Omen. We're the only ones with the UBRS key because we both got the whole UBRS key, all the gems in one run. So we had enough ammo for doing the dungeons. We were constantly tanking everything, and then that way we kind of got to cherry pick the people we wanted to play with. So that definitely helped at the start. Like there were very few warriors able to tank or willing to tank, and for me, I could cherry pick the people I wanted to go dungeons with. So I didn't take any hunters or any rogues unless they were friends, just to make it easy for myself. Because like take the mage, warlocks, and priests because they can all fight for the loot, and then I don't have to worry about certain things. And that just gave me an edge at the start, and then knowing what dungeons were important. So I didn't do much farming at the start for herbs, but I just did all the dungeons so I could be on par for tanking raids as fast as I could be.
That's actually funny. Did not take any rogue, did not take any. That's actually funny. Tips and tricks, guys. The experience right there. And also another tips and tricks when TBC hits, level up. If you're questing, quests during overnight. That's actually true story. Servers will go to shit, that's for sure. So Dex, for the guild sentence, was that the first guild you joined? Are you in the same guild since the beginning?
Yeah, this is actually the guild. We were having an argument what we were gonna do. Were we gonna join a guild that already existed with like a group of like around 10 people, or were we gonna make our own guild? And we kind of decided like, oh no, you know what? We're fine not being we're fine not being officers. We don't have to be officers. We just want to be enjoying the game. And that pretty much worked all the way up to level 30 or 40, and then one of the friends said like, fuck it, I'm gonna make a guild, and you guys when you come over to a Grimmer, I'll just sit here, you get invite everybody to sign, and I'll make the guild, I get more people invited. And we made some friends just while leveling. We got them into the guild, and they have stayed with us since the start, and they're still here. And we met some old friends along the way. So one of the stories is Sharpshoot and Goofy. They were questing in Hinterlands, and Sharpshoot whispered him, "Hey, like, are you Goofy from this server?" And he's like, "Yeah, why?" I'm like, "I'm this person from this server." And they were like, "Holy shit, this is amazing! I haven't talked to you in like X amount of years." And that is how they actually reunited. And then like they were like, I'm gonna do you a favor. In the end, it wasn't a favor, but he invited him to the guild, and he's still with us today. And he actually got his ATS crafted yesterday.
That's pretty cool. Getting back to getting in touch with someone you play with 10, 12, 15 years ago, that's super awesome. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, it's been amazing because like I said, I was abroad for a couple of years, so I still kept in touch every so often. But like actually playing together again, and then like hearing people that were like, "Oh, I never want kids, I never want kids," and then now suddenly they actually have a kid, and he's like. He's doing like putting her to bed and singing like little songs, and the best part is when he forgets to put his microphone, or when his wife takes over the microphone and he tells like a story, like, "Oh yeah, he's just putting the kid to bed," and he's like, "I heard you were back," and they were like, back in vanilla, I was like 16, 17, 18, so I was very young, and then I was always the brookie of the guild, and then that person was like a grandpa of the guild, and then now he's like, "Oh, I don't want kids, they're stupid, ugly, everything," and I was like, "Okay, I understand." And then now he actually has his own, and it's amazing to hear what effort he puts in, like something that I never thought was possible, but in the end he caved in, or his wife made him, not sure which one, but yeah, so now he has a kid, and it's great to see.
Indeed. Now gray hair as well, white gray hair. I don't know about you guys, but in vanilla I did not add those. So by the way, when did Flor join Sentence? Because it wasn't at the beginning, you said, Flor. So I'm guessing it was a little bit later. Was it before phase 2, so before MC?
No, it was the first week in December that I joined them.
Okay.
I left Omen at the end of November, around the 20th, I think. And yeah, it was a good guild. It was a serious guild. Had a lot of still famous players on our server. That had a lot of potential, but I just didn't have that connection with them, which made me leave the guild to level a bit on another server with some friends. But
Okay.
but I have no bad feelings towards anyone because there wasn't really any drama. It's just there was no connection I had in Omen, and then I just did another dungeon. I think I run into the current one of the officers of sentence, and they said, "Well, I could use a mage." And then I asked, "Hey, do you also have a spot for my friend the warlock?" And they said, "Yeah, I might do." So then I started raiding with sentence in December.
December when?
December 2019.
Okay, perfect. I wasn't sure for a moment. Like, is he talking about December now? Okay, so before the first raid, December 9, 2019. Was it before before MC or after MC?
It was still in the middle of MC at the end.
Okay,
the end of it.
Perfect.
Because Blackwing Lair came the beginning of the next year.
Yeah, we did like I think towards the December a lot of guilds were finally getting settled, finally getting the 40 raid members, and we did the co-op raiding since pretty much I think like the third week of people leveling. When people got to 60, I think a pug was made to Molten Core, and I think we did a pug with the muffin vendor was in there. I think Easy was in there.
So it is the pug that every GM or everybody that I interviewed so far is talking about, right? Ole talked about it, Doler talked about it, a few others talked about it. So it is that same pug, right?
Yeah, it's at the beginning. I think it was several guilds, and just by happenstance, I got to chat with them. I was a warrior tank. Knew I did it before. Knew what to focus on, and we started it. I think we got 8 bosses going from the first week, and then we didn't have the quintessence. Of course, we had the occasional wipes, but we had pucks from every other guild. So like that's why the whole meme at the beginning of Classic started like, oh, server first, Molten Core, server first, or Nixia. For every guild that it was important to, they were claiming it. But in the end, it was all done by the base was made by a pug. So that was just like it was Sentence, there was the Muffin vendors, it was Valkyrie, Easy, Consanguinis. I think Dark Rain was in there. So it was just a mix max of all the people, and then like the more time went on, guilds broke away because they started doing their own raids, and then that's how Easy got really big in the beginning. Why they had several raid teams because they were just constantly recruiting out of everyone. So it's just it's that's where it started, and then Omen was one of the first guilds to go away to break off and make their own raid team. I think Easy, Consanguinis went quickly after, and then the smaller guilds, so the more casual people, they were like where people were in the guilds where people were leveling slower. They just kept going and going until like in the end we all the guilds had their people, and we went our own way as well. Like we raided for a bit with the muffin vendor and Valkyrie, then the muffin vendor broke off, and then it was just Sentence and Valkyrie, which went really fine until both guilds had enough people. And I think that is also why I know most of the GMs or officers of those guilds, and I would say we have good relations with them as well. Like we in the beginning when Black Lair came out, in terms of trading materials, borrowing materials for making the Hand of Soul for us, or getting the materials to craft Thunder Fury. You need the Dark Iron ore to craft Fire Resist gear. We were all we were doing insider trading, just helping each other out. There wasn't really competition. Like, of course, we would also think of our own guild, but everybody from that moment, and I think all the way till now, was willing to help us, and we were willing to help them. So all the guilds were really, yeah, well, they were on good terms with each other, and then you always had some small drama between the guilds, but we were not really involved in any of it.
Of course, there's always some drama, but I see if you take a step back, you see that there was a community in phase 2, which was MC. You see that there was a community by the pugs, by wanting to help each other, and so on. Do you remember the first raid, the first MC that you did as Sentence? MC was phase 1. Thank you, Glenn. Sorry, mixing. Do you remember first raid that you did as full, completely Sentence members?
I don't know. I can't remember it, but I'm pretty sure it would have been a shit show, because all the raids from that moment all the way till now, they have been shit shows one way or another, pulling extra totems and new people learning. During the pugs, one of the things that we did in vanilla is if new people would come, new people would come up to the raiding scene every continuously, and then what we did is, for example, behind Golemag, you have that like little triangle in the wall, and then we were telling people like, hey guys, come stand over here, you can see Ragnaros, the final boss of this dungeon. But it's like the anvil, or the no, not the anvil, it's like the forge.
Yeah.
So like that was one of the biggest successes that makes me proud as well. It's like when we went there with the pug, and then like, hey guys, go check this out, and then we had like 17 people die in the forge because they didn't know they were taking damage, and all the people that actually knew or that died before or experienced that, they were just laughing at it.
17 people died. That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and then some people didn't realize, so they were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you do this to us!" And that is pretty much the baseline that we kept in our pugs during the raids. Is like, if we can mess with new people one way or another, we will try and see how far we can go.
Of course, you have to have a little bit of fun. I don't know how to say in English, but you know, when you have someone new joining the team, you have to test them. You have to make sure they're worthy or something. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think it's always to check how gullible they are. So how far can I go before someone goes, and what we can make them do. So we actually, from the start, we were cooperating with other guilds while we were raiding with our own guild as well, and so we had some minor issues. Someone that won the braces in a pug decided to sell the braces on the auction house, so we were like, not gonna happen, and oof, out of the guild he went. And then we had like in-game messages being sent, and I was like, I'm not even gonna respond to this. And then they were whispering people, and they were like, nah, it's not gonna happen, end of story. Like, you don't come to a co-op raid, get braces at the beginning of raiding, and then let's try and sell them on the auction house. And people were talking about doing, because Onyxia was out, like, oh, you need to get World Boss because you need to get parses, and it was so amazing that all the warriors had parses, but none of the tanks were Fury Protection yet. They didn't have the gear, they couldn't keep up, and it just resulted in a massive carpet of all the warriors dying constantly. It was both in the pugs and in our own raids, and they were like, oh guys, you're so shit with tanking. I'm like, no, it's not so shit, we just can't keep up because of the damage they can pump out if they have like Deathbringer and another X. And it's like, so that's where we actually coined the term of a warrior carpet, or carpet warrior. Like, warriors, they just like move from one mob to the next, and they're constantly just dead on the ground. And then like, if it's look a penny, look a new carpet, it's the role they fulfilled pretty much since the start.
Carpet warrior, I like it. Do you remember what was the focus when you branch out and you started doing your own Sentence raid? So for the reminder, MC, what was the focus for you, maybe as a GM? I don't know if you were raid lead. I think you were, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
What was the focus? Was it because every guild that most of the guild that I've been interviewing, of course, first it was execution, but really, really, really quickly it was speed. What was yours?
Wow. Our focus was loot the dogs. It was like literally, it doesn't matter if we went in there for the first time or the 20th time, it was loot the stupid dogs. It's like people were like, I got skinning, I can do this. And then people just refused to loot the dogs. And in the beginning, soul shard bags and everything else that was important. Hey guys, loot the dog. And then like it just never happened. And then when people did loot the dogs, like, hey, look at this person being a good boy and actually looting the dog. And so it quickly became a meme. So looting the dogs was the first one, and I think afterwards is like don't do stupid shit, and that means like leave a totem behind so we have a surgeon coming or we have a dog coming from the side, and just like move as a group. And because we focus on fun, it can get very chaotic on Discord very quickly. So someone makes a joke, then people have a comment, it goes left side, and then it spirals out of control, and we quickly have chaos. So we just embrace the chaos and focused on that people should learn to improvise and think for themselves. And sometimes that works out. In our guild, most of the time it doesn't. And that is something that we also learned, but that made our warriors, one of the requirements we had is that all the warriors can tank. So if we ass pull, if we side pull, if we do some stupid shit and we get extra ads or extra trash, we make sure that every warrior is willing and able to run out and taunt them up and just off tank it for however long he can do it, and go from there. And that is that is something that we carried from Molten Core all the way to Naxxramas. Like we still ass pull, we still still pull extra trash packs. I won't say who, but it is somebody. And it just keeps going. It's a never ending story, and it's like the chaos. Everybody has their little has their own spot within the guild, and you're not part of the guild until you cast a wipe. That's what we say. And some people are just barely part of the guild, and then we have some people that are a very big part of the guild because they just don't stop. They still do it to this day.
I like the part, and this is actually true. If you're a warrior, if you over aggro, if you ass pull, it's your problem, you fucking tank them up. I love this, and it's a super great mentality to have. It prepares all your warriors to actually slap a shield if needed, go into tanking mode if needed. So it's really, really a great mentality. And,
I like it's so we had some people join towards the end of Molten Core that made us prep for the Blackwing Lair, and I think this is where Flor comes in and several other people from Omen and other guilds as well. It's like they joined the guild, and the aspect of helping each other, sacrificing yourself for someone else. Sometimes it's noble, sometimes you get irritated that you die because of someone else's mistake. But the motivation, the learning that like it doesn't always have to be your mistake, but you still need to help, you still need to do it together, is a very big part that everybody understands. And for the warriors, it meant like, okay, we have ads. Every warrior turns around, slaps on a shield, and tries to pick up a mob. Sometimes it's for 2 seconds, sometimes it's for 2 minutes. And Molten Core is a lot more forgiving than Naxxramas.
Indeed.
But it's it also built relationships with other people. So, for example, we have a husband and wife in the guild, and we have he was only getting healed by his wife. He's like, I don't get any heals unless I get healed by my wife. So then we had to give the wife a beating because she also had to heal the other people and the other tanks, and it's like. Yeah, it quickly became a meme as well. So she's now everybody's wife. He just needs a wife share, and it's everything we do together. So if we wipe together, we wipe together, and if we kill stuff together, it's everybody's achievement, and that just really works out for us as well. And I think that goes very well with the loot system that we actually use, because we don't use DKP, we don't use EPGP or whatever. We use loot lists. So before the raid tier gets released, we assign every piece of loot to a specific class, or a specific class or spec gets priority.
Okay.
And the people within that class or spec, they talk together about handing out the loot. So they make the list. So like we have 6 shamans, it's a shaman item. The shamans talk between each other like, hey, X item is really good for me. X item is not so good for me. I'm willing to be a higher prior on the shield and lower prior on the weapon or necklace or whatever it could be. And that really created a sphere where it is collaboration, teamwork, and it motivates people to work together, get the pieces inside of raid tiers and just in dungeons as well. Hey, I need some help with dungeons. We still sometimes take puggers, we help puggers, but in general, it's everything gets done within the guild, and then people log a character Y or an alt or whatever, and if someone needs a dungeon, you get a dungeon in no time.
That loot list, this is what I was looking for. You've been using it since the beginning throughout all phases.
Yeah.
Is it? Did you add any drama about it, or it went pretty good overall?
We had some issues, but it was in general beforehand or towards the end of a phase where people were not happy that we assigned X ring to the shadow priests because it was very good for the mages on long term, and we just made it in such a way that everything can be discussed, and we take, instead of just one item, we took all the items into consideration. So all the items at the start, phase 1, phase 2, all the leather cloth stuff, everything was best for warriors. Therefore, warriors should get prior. And we just said, nah, like we're gonna work out that every class gets prior on certain items, and we know that certain items can be beneficial for multiple classes. But we need to work together. So one of the things that we did is the rogues get priority on swords, the warriors get priority on axes, and the non-orc warriors should just delete their characters and start over.
Okay. You're the first one I interviewed that has that loot list. I think most had GDKP or EPGP or loot console. You're the first one that with that loot list. I know. There's a few other guilds that use that loot list system, and it seems to be doing them well. So that's why I ask you with your feedback how it was.
Yeah, it just really focuses on cooperation and teamwork, and that is, you can't raid by yourself. You can't do 40-man raid content by yourself, and you can't make everybody happy, because so the moment we can keep everybody happy 80% of the time, then we're doing a good job, and that is what we did. And we gave it with the message of like, hey, as long as you keep coming, as long as you keep showing up from now till the end of days, everybody is gonna get what they want, as long as you help other people get it as well. So if you're the first, we still expect you to keep coming for the person that is last. And the people within the class themselves could sort it out. And if they couldn't, they just went officer prio, and then the discussion could be sorted very fast.
As a point of criticism, this merry attitude with raiding, this happy atmosphere, isn't everyone's cup of tea, so to speak. So you could say there's maybe 15% that gets really annoyed at times when there's not enough focus, when it's all too funny, and would like to see that improve at times, and keeping that balance wasn't always done good enough, or something we still struggle with at times, and we try to maintain that balance so that everyone gets to enjoy the experience and raiding with us. And yeah, we get that feedback a lot, and we try to accommodate it, and and balance it out a bit more.
Yeah.
There's a time and there's a time and a place to crack a joke during a raid, in the middle of a boss fight or something. I mean, now's not the time. So yeah, I can imagine sometimes people wanting more, a little bit of focus. But I mean, it's pretty much all raids that are like this, right? You have, I mean, there's 40 per person. You cannot please each and every one of them at every moment in time. So you have to go with the, anyway, that's my thought on it. You have to go with the majority at each and every moment of your raid.
Yeah, to add on what Floor says, he's completely right. I think the difference in mentality, in preparation, in dedication, but is the hardest but that goes for any guild that is doing things, because people always have feelings, and sometimes they can put it down on the side, and sometimes they can let it go, but they can't always do it. So finding the fine balance where it works out for everybody is very hard. We had the issues as well. X item should go to the DPS classes, the choke of the Firelord, because it's good and there's not a replacement coming anytime soon. And it's we definitely had our struggles, but I assume that it's just like any other guild. I'm part of the server Discord as well. I see what goes on in the officer channels and the GM channels, and it's some guilds have a very strict way of dealing with it, so other guilds have a more relaxed way. Other guilds try to be more democratic. Other guilds are full fascist or communist. Like whatever works for them, it's fine. For us, it's just like we listen to the feedback and we try to find the most balanced way that works for everyone.
So, what was, so now we're at the end of MC. BWL is announced. What was the preparation done towards a new raid? Did you guys crunch out numbers? Did you guys prepare like cloaks, like pots, flask, so on and so forth?
I'll take this one before I pass it on the floor. I think the preparation we did was not enough, but because Floor is actually still a member at that time, I think it will be fair to hear from him where we could improve.
Going back a bit, yeah, I think there was an imbalance that some people got really well prepared and others not so much. But that didn't lead to any problems for us in Blackwing Lair. I think the problems we had in Blackwing Lair, because we got through it in the first week.
Okay, pretty good. Did you went in at midnight on release?
No, okay. No. We like I said, we're the Dad's Guild, and we play on the Wednesday and the Sunday, and okay. to change to another day is normally not done with us. We went on the Sunday and we killed up to Nefarian, and yeah, we had some unnecessary wipes, and whether it was a lack of preparation or.
So in one night, your first ever raid in BWL, you went up to Nefarian?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good.
It's one of the biggest jokes in the guild as well, because for Nefarian we could actually kill them, but someone, aka me, made a mistake. I was yelling at people to put on their cloaks for 20 minutes, and guess who forgot to put their cloak on? So like nice. Yeah, so like the first Nefarian, everybody had the cloak on, nobody died, and then I didn't have my cloak on, so I tried to hide it, put my last stand on, put my shield wall on, but to no avail. I just got burnt into the ground, and then he went rampage into the raid, and it was time to call the raid, so we did. Even though we really wanted to get the first day clear of the new instance, We didn't make it, and so that can totally be blamed on me. We actually decided, you know, guys, we could easily do this. We did, like, we have shown it. This was just a bad boo boo. Um, let's go again. So we made it's actually one of the two exceptions that we made for making an extra raid day. So we made in total from the start of Classic till now, we put in 2 extra raid days to kill Nefarian, and we did 1 extra to kill KT. And for the rest, we have always maintained and stayed on path of the 2 raid days a week.
I'm guessing that's a meme today that you scream about a cloak, and I hope it's a meme. Chat, I know the majority of the chat is sentenced. Chat, tell me that's a meme today.
Nah, they're skewed. Don't trust them. It's every time now we go back to Nefarian. It's like, hey Dex, don't forget to put your cloak on. And I get messages, put your cloak on, and like, hey, look at me, I don't have my cloak on. I'm like Dex, you know. And it's like, they're never gonna let me forget that one.
Of course not. I mean, but that's pretty good though. First night up to Nef. Then you came back the day after to kill it. It was a one shot the day after, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys use world buff back then?
No. Flor, you can have this one.
Just check that because we expected this question and we were wondering as well. And like a handful of people had world buffs. We're talking about 5 people that had a few of them. Not even full sets on anyone. But we obviously lost them because of something silly with the controlling. I think someone that was controlling didn't have his pet bar visible or shown, so that was Race Gore. So yeah, it didn't really matter. But there wasn't a discipline at the time to get world buffs at all. And people that did it, kudos to them, but there wasn't the mentality to get it.
Okay, so it wasn't the prerequisite to raid. So it wasn't a rule in your raids.
Yeah, and same goes for the consumables. I mean, it was recommended to bring them, but no, it wasn't. Most of us did though, but.
Even on the first few times you went into BWL thinking about the dragons, Flame Gore, Ribbon Rock, and so on, there was no minimum consume list to have, maybe a greater fire potion and so on?
No.
Okay.
Well, Greater Fire was, I think you were, Gold, the officer at the time was jamming that in the group, and he told us to bring those. But most of us did anyway. The fire protection, at least.
Yeah, I think we spent some money from the guild bank to give everybody fire protection potions. But in terms of consumables and getting buffs and stuff, that didn't become anything anywhere. We didn't even consider it. It wasn't mandatory, and I don't think that came back until like towards AQ40, and I think the later part of AQ40 where we really started to focus on. Or like seeing if like what will buffs do for us and how can we improve, how can we go faster and go for the one night clears. Black Malaria was always easy, but AK40 was harder.
Let's talk a little bit. I forgot, but let's talk a little bit about loot. How was RNG for you? I'm thinking here DFT, Rejuve Gem, maybe Thunder Fury as well. It is. I mean, it is the most enviable weapon for warriors. How was RNG overall for you guys in MC and in BWL?
I think RNG was quite good, but I got both my bindings in the guild run fairly quick after each other before Black Malaria even released. We had another warrior with bindings that quit halfway through Molten Core, Later on, we had another tank, and he got the bindings, and we never seen the other one. We had a warrior that already had bindings when he came to us. So I think we have like 6 warriors with one binding or another. Um, so in terms of bindings, we only completed one tour in the Fury ourselves, and uh, we're proud to announce that we also helped Salastras towards his mental breakdown by providing him the Elementium ore to get the Thunder Fury. But we only crafted one ourselves. We helped Salastras create his, and for the rest, we have like 6 warriors with bindings going around.
So they
In
still
terms
to
of
this day, have those bindings, and you're still
yeah,
running MC.
yeah, we're still running MC for the 2 main warriors. Pretty much every week we run it, but we have given it to the 2 warriors that still play it as a main. And then we had several people join the guild where they came from another guild had bindings, but we can't promise them the bindings over someone that has been going with us for the past 6 months, 9 months, or a year even. Um, the Hand of Ragnaros went to a enhancement, a memes shaman that didn't even want the totem twist. He quit shortly after. He's one of the 7 people that actually left our guild. And then we had a second eye that went to a raider and that quit like 2 weeks after. So we just decided if we get any more eyes, we're not gonna give it to anyone because it just means they're gonna quit the guild or leave the guild. So like we never had any more drop, but that quickly became the meme for it. In terms of the Drakefang Talisman, I think with the replacements of switching some warriors in and out, I think we had 12 DFDs. I think we have 4 or 5 rejuvenation gems, and every caster in the guild has the Neltarian Steer. So all the casters have their spell, the 2% hit trinket.
Yeah, one thing of note is that we didn't get a Shadowwing focus staff to drop until AQ got released. That was
Shadow Flame stuff, yeah.
That's a stat from Nif. Okay.
Yeah, and we literally didn't have any swords. We didn't have any weapons from the from both Onyxia and Broodlord and Nefarian. We had to wait quite a while before the weapons actually started dropping, and I think we have seen Maladet once or twice. And we still pretty much run it from the moment it got released all the way up to now. We have seen one drop. But of course, we have seen the venomous Totus drop like a gazillion times, so that's way better.
I mean, can you really complain though with 12 DFT? That's a lot of
Well,
DFT.
I still need one on my shaman, but I guess we don't. Nah, it's like in
maybe
terms
6
of
or 7 tiers. Yeah.
yeah, in terms of no, we like you have the good RNG, you have the bad RNG. We you make do with what you get, and missing weapons, of course, not ideal. Missing the trinkets are just so huge. They will be a good upgrade for everyone. It's actually also one of the items that we prioritize and actually loot constant away. So we decided the Neltarian Steer we gave the first to the Warlock tanks, the next 2 went to the mages, and then it was a rotation. The rejuvenation gem we kind of bent by with the healers. We looked at the performance. We looked at what was fair. Who got the last loot. Who didn't get loot from a long time. We looked at attendance. So the rejuvenation gem was actually the hardest. The DFT first went to all the tanks. So first our feral Jude. The biggest memer of all is just constantly like, I need this, I need this, I need this. So he got the first DFT. And then afterwards it went into warrior tanks, and then slowly we rotated it between first the dagger rogues, one dagger rogue, one DPS warrior, one dagger rogue, one DPS warrior, and then to the other rogues, and then we quickly worked our way down of the down the list where everybody got it. I think we have 3 warriors, maybe no, we have 4 warriors at this moment, and we have a melee squad of like I think like 18 people, and they either are. I think we have 3 or 4 people that don't have DFT or Kiss of the Spider, and for the rest, everybody has it. One of them.
That's pretty good overall, I think. That's I would consider being maybe a good RNG overall for you guys, which is quite good. Obviously, there's some in your case. I mean, no weapons or very low drop of weapon is the bad part versus everything else, the trinket, etc. is the good part. But I think and you said it, the trinket being so huge of an upgrade for everybody that it becomes more valuable than those weapons, right?
For the casters especially, well, yeah, yes, for everybody, yes, because it would just last such a long time and it's such a huge upgrade. And once you loot cancel those, or instead of using DKP, because DKP people just start hoarding, EPGP people just start hoarding for the biz items. It was well really hard for us to see how can we divide this fair, and then we said intra-class. So, like for example, we said that the rejuvenation gem first goes. The other classes roll, and for example, the druids won, so the druids get the first the rejuvenation gem. The shamans get the second. The priest gets the third, and then within that class, we would see who would be the biggest upgrade, best performance, and everything else. So we really try to be fair at every aspect of dividing loot on that everybody gets their little the thing. That's one of the things that also carries over to Naxxramas at the moment. Is there's some good trinkets in Naxxrama. So, for example, people that already have DFT, they cannot get Kiss of the Spider until all the people that don't have DFT get it. So that is just to create some balance. There's an equivalent. For rejuvenation. There's a very good trinket in Naxxramas as well. So people that have the rejuvenation gem don't get priority on that trinket because they already have a very good trinket.
It makes sense. Overall, it does make sense.
When it comes to warlocks, when we entered BWL, we went there with the plan to get them ready for twins as well. That was already on the table, and that was a priority. Getting them a lot of hit and stuff like that.
So that's why they got the 2 Nef tier.
Yeah,
makes sense. Makes sense. So there was planning. There was planning for future phases in preparation.
Yeah, but most people would still say not enough. So yeah. So we did try to look things at the bigger picture, and that's why one of the things why we also said like we're looking long term. We don't want to have a higher turnover of people. We want to make everybody happy. Everybody needs to do his part. And if you, for example, if you struggle with healing or keeping up or whatever, talk to your guildies, talk to your classmates, see where you can improve, where you can go, and talk it out with each other. For example, if you really want to parse hard in Black Moon Lair with Dark Moon Fair Week, see if you can do something for the protection warriors, because they are actually struggling to keep up in threat and also farm their own consumables. How is a protection warrior ever gonna kill mobs and farm money if he doesn't have an alt on level 60 to do it to do actual DPS with? So like we had a lot of intra guild cooperation. Used to run a lot of dungeon. I get healing potions, and I get mana potions, and I would trade the mana potions for stone skill eel, for example. And one of the people like to fish. It relaxes her. I'm like, you go fish, and I'll get the mana potions. And sometimes I would buy them. Sometimes I would steal them from a guild group. You know, like, hey, mine. Oh, there you go. And then it's like people would like just barter, trade, and help each other. So like, hey, I can come Diamal East. I don't need anything, but I need some large billion shards for extra mana oils or whatever, or I need the herbs, or I need the arcane crystals to get ready for my next tier sets. So we really exchanged a lot within the guild that doesn't have the auction house value of money. It's just helping each other.
Yeah, of course.
One of the biggest things that we also did during raiding is that we kept all the greenies and blues that dropped during the raid. We put them into a bank character. If they weren't worth any money on the auction house, we would send them back. We would disenchant them, and up until this day, we actually enchant all guildies for free with all the enchanting materials from the guild bank. So if you need righteous orbs, you get them yourself. But Nexus crystals, large billion shards, and everything else, they would all be supplied. So if you needed anything, if you, right now you need +4 stats to on chest, whisper someone that is in control of the guild bank, and booyah, you get it done.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. One question, you're talking about the let's say the organization side. How is the management of the guild? Do you guys have GM officers? Do you have GM officers, class leader? How does it work in that sense?
We have 5 officers or 4, and I pretty much do the raid leading. I did from the start. Flor does the organizing on the background, makes helps with making certain calls during the boss fights. For example, move in and out of the bread, make sure you use your potions, your etc. We have Rurik, who is just pretty much our loot peon, so he just loots everything. Otherwise, he gets himself killed anyway. So he's just only allowed to loot during whatever instance we're doing, be it scarabs or ZG coins or whatever. He just loots. That's his stuff. And Kawa does the healing together with Goofy, and Floor is just the background man. He's like he just organizes everything. So he's like, hey, I have this idea. Can we work on this? And then I'll sit with him to see how we can improve the raid. And like we never planned for AQ40 or Naxxaramas up until later, where he started making specific plans or layouts. Like, hey, we need to have the lower tab groups ready. We need to have a 4 horseman group set up ready. We need to know how we're gonna divide the groups. Who are we gonna put where? Can the mages slash warlocks expect the shaman, or are they gonna be without the tranquil air totem? Um, and it just helps us. Like we have a very specific list of all the tier 3 items as well. So we can specifically see who got the first tier 3 helm of the mages, who got the first tier 3 helm of the warriors. So from the start all the way up to now, he just helped us be more organized, and then talk to people, see what they want, what they actually mean. If people were upset or they were butthurt about something, about losing something, or they didn't agree with something, he would listen to their stories and then see how we could make this work and improve for the future. And that is what he said from as well. Like we were really lacking in organization skills, and when we asked when we asked him to be an officer, he said yep, and he just focused on what he's very good at, and that's just helping out with organization, getting things done, getting all the information at one point, and then going from there.
The background man, basically.
Yeah.
Any so before we move to AQ or the opening of AQ, anything, any funny story from the BWL era, something that happened, a wipe maybe, beside you wiping on the first ever NEF? Anything else you remember?
Yes, there's several things that it became clear that the warriors were carpets, walking carpets, moving carpets. We even put them on the other side of Valstras, because at the beginning we're like, no, they're gonna fight, they're gonna be fine, they're gonna watch Threat and they won't wipe the raid, and they're like, for some reason, whatever the reason be, they just decide to shit out their brains at Razorgore, and then at Velstros go full stupid. So like, oh yeah, I had a big wind fury, crit turns the boss to the raid, does a bread, everybody dead, and we can start running back. So we put them on the other side, like, hey warriors, you can go ham, and just make sure if you kill someone, make sure that you kill all the other warriors, and you can all go cry into a corner together. Just don't touch the mages, don't leave the warlocks. We had
Did it happen? Did it happen?
The warriors over aggroing.
No. I mean, this. There's no way this is not happening. I mean, did they all die a few times?
Yep. It's in general, it's always the warriors over aggroing. I won't say it's the same person every time, but we have some very specific warriors that stand out, that go like, oops, I had a big crit, and then they just die on they die on in a stupid way, but they just like they can't hold back on wind fury. They can just hold back on doing the most damage, but they also can't like, oh, you know what? I have the biggest, fattest mace in my hand, and I'm gonna slap this mob straight into his face and get a wind fury crit with a hand of justice. And it's you see him fly up on the damage meter, and then you see his corpse fly even harder into the ground. Yeah, and it's that is something that is where it really started frustrating others as well. So like we, one of the biggest things as well is like, and that is still with us till this day. We had a warrior switch back to his hunter because he had like an 85% chance on resist on his taunts. So when we were doing the tanking the drakes in Blackwing Lair, for example, Firemar, Ebon Rock or whatever, like okay, next taunt, next tank taunt, and he's like resist. He had like 6 resist in a row or something, and it's like fuck off, you don't even tank anymore, and we just get someone else to do it because like, and then like. It slowly turned into a meme the more it happened, but at a certain moment he like of course it sucks when it happens, you know, like the one time you have one button to press and then it gets resisted and it's like it's it hurts, you know, like resisting that one taunt that you need to make so the boss doesn't heal up. So we had Ebon Rock go up from like 30% back to 80% because all the taunts in a row just kept like resisting, and then it's like you can do the whole fight all over again, but this time with no mana and everything else.
It's pretty funny. 85% resist. So you made him okay. It's enough with your warrior. Now you're gonna come with your hunter.
We didn't make him. When he joined initially, we didn't have any hunter spots, and then we slowly decided that all our hunters were going full retard because they couldn't stop multi-shot pulling, they couldn't stop doing serpents thing, and we were like, you really need to watch this, and like, yeah, I'll watch it, and then the first arrow you see flying is another serpents thing, and yeah, we still have 3 of the original hunters. 1 quit, luckily for us. But like he wanted to swap back to his hunter anyway because we were getting people to swap to the alt to just do the trank shot and then swap back. And he's like, you know what, I'm done with this. I actually want to play hunter again. And then we made him. Well, he swapped back, and it was definitely noticeable in the warrior team. But for himself, what he wanted to play, what he enjoyed, was definitely the most important.
I'll say it. Shout out to Glenn T, because I asked him if it was him because he said something and he said yes. Shout out to him. This guy is a legend. He ran so many DMT, cleared so many DMT back in the day. I was using every Wednesday. He was there always on point, so I have to give him props for that. So shout out to him. You're a legend, man, by the way. Okay. The opening of AQ. Flor, as the background man, as the helping guy, how did you approach that raid? What did you wanted maybe to improve from what you saw BWL, MC BWL, and going into AQ?
At the time I was still a raider because this was in August when it opened.
Okay.
And I became an officer in December. But yeah, we knew the fights, we knew the importance of the consumables by then, and we also realized as a guild that we had to step up. And what you definitely see in the logs, if you compare the consumable use from AQ and Blackwing Lair, it's just different world, different mentality. So things were improving in my perspective in a better direction.
What did brought that change of mentality from maybe casual BWL to a little bit more focus, more prepare AQ? What was the change? Where was the change?
I think a large portion of the guild, including the officers, pressed on the others that we need to step up at least. at least a lot more. And so there was a lot of those pre-raid farm items were done. There was a lot of CG farming, and we knew that that we need to bring our A game there, and so we did a lot of farming and got ready nature pots, etc., consumables.
Nature gear, I'm guessing as well.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that too. We were definitely some say over prepared on all the resistance, and because there was a bit of discussion, people reading forums obviously, and YouTube videos how many nature gear you actually need for a run, and we ended up settling as a guild like better to be over prepared, and because you can always take gear off rather than not having it on the spot, and yeah, I think that worked out pretty well.
Did you? So again, I'll ask again. Did you went on release midnight?
No. We waited till the
Sunday. I'm guessing.
Sunday, yeah.
We went AQ20 though.
We
had enough. We had enough nerds online to go in midnight raid, and then we went AQ20. And
how did it go in AQ20 at the midnight raid?
Yeah. It was fine. It was fun. It was just a new content. We were all excited, and I think we had a good fun. And yeah.
Sorry, the hardest part was getting in, and then it was the Ragex fight not resetting. So like it's like at the start there were a lot of issues with the Ragex fight resetting, and not sure if we had it happen on the first night, but we had it happen a lot of times, and then people moved their Hearthstone to Cenarian Hold and Silitus just so they, if it happens, they could just like drop their thread, pop a potion, and just like run out quickly or Hearthstone out just so they wouldn't die.
Yeah, makes sense. So the Sunday you went in. What was your guys' plan in? First of all, how many boss did you kill on that night?
We killed Huron, and then we did 2 attempts on twins, and we lost a lot of time on the trash in between Huron and the twins. And I think we also had. It was warlocks were always there, and like I said with Blackwing Lair, we were gearing them to the teeth for this encounter, and I think one of them couldn't make it or something.
Okay.
So we were there with the substitute tank on the first Sunday night.
Yeah.
And at least the substitute in the sense that he wasn't the one that was geared for that.
So first five boss were pretty first 4 boss was 4 or 5. I don't remember. First 5 boss were pretty easy. Any issues on Uran, or you had enough gear, nature resist gear, and so on? The tactic was done, and you just one shot her.
Yeah, third was a charm there. I think one of the wipes was because of a dispel that shouldn't have happened, and that killed the tank. That's one at least, and the third was just I think a pretty good kill.
Perfect.
I can't remember it exactly, Dex, can you? But
no, I know the first one where a tank got sniped. He was on low HP, and then they dispelled him, and he got sniped into the ground.
And I see you here one pretty much 100% wipe, so I don't know what went wrong there.
Yeah, and yeah, so it's I think it's 1 or 2 wipes on that one, and then we killed them. So it was just people learning the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Then on we went to twins on that Sunday, and then we kind of got stuck at twins because we didn't have one of the tanks that was gonna tank him there. So I think we did like 5 bosses the first week, and then the second week we did everything with the exception of visitors onwards. So that was just that we didn't have a second raid day, and because it released on midnight, so we on Wednesday we didn't go. We went to we just went to Blackman Lair. On Sunday we went to AQ40, and then afterwards when it actually got released, we went AQ40 again next Wednesday, and that's where we got all the way up to the twins again. and then we wiped some, and then the next Sunday we had our one of the regular Warlock tanks there again, and then we killed it, and we killed Khatun.
Yeah, so the following Wednesday we made it up to Uro. Actually, we had only one wipe on Twins, and so the Sunday after, so the second Sunday, we killed Khatun in 4 attempts.
Yeah, and it's actually funny because one of the biggest issues we had before Twins was not the Twins itself; it was the trash bags. The single Anubisat mobs that were running around, and we were just getting wrecked with like we got like some insane RNG, and I think we wiped like twice or 3 times on the trash, if not more. And it because we were getting the War Stomp or the Thunderclap and the Meteorite or something, and so we couldn't leave the tank alone, but the healing couldn't keep up with the nature damage on the melee group, and then the range group got killed by the ads, and then slowly we started losing people, and that was a wipe of running one back once or twice. In the guild chat, they're saying 6 times at the moment. They remember it well.
I mean, even today, as Nax gear, that trash still feels difficult, right?
Yeah, but it's the trash. It's the Anubisats before the Twins, not after.
Yeah, the lone one. I mean, they still, as I'm a healer, I speak as a healer. I see the damage going around, and there's shitload of damage going around. So it still feel. I mean, you cannot fuck around with these, basically, right? You have to have a minimum of focus, even today, as next gear players. So I imagine, I remember myself in my guild back then doing those for the first time. I mean, they were so fucking atrocious to do. They were so bad. How long? Question for you, maybe Flor. How long did it get you guys to kill Viscidus? Because you said you didn't kill him the first 2 weeks.
So, if I look at the logs, so that's the 3rd week of release. We tried him for the first time, according to the logs, and we actually killed him the 3rd week. That was
okay. So that's on your first, let's say, your first few attempts, you went in and you killed it, because I don't know about you guys. I think Viscidus is probably the most difficult boss in there in terms of you need the gear, you need the resist, and yeah, your melee as well needs the frost weapon. So I think it is the most difficult boss in there. Khatun, I mean, Khatun is quite easy.
I would.
Well, we were prepared, and people had their consumes, and I think Glemt again, he switched to Shaman to have some extra, and he did stuff. So yeah.
How many around how many engineers you guys are running with?
4.
Say, 4. Repeat that.
Only 4.
4 engineers, and you managed to kill him on your first few tries?
No, we had a few tries before, but once we got the fight down, we were really focused. Where we had the mages to go ready with AOE, and we had the engineers. But like I think we had like 4 or 5 engineers. We really didn't have a lot, and that was one of the biggest debates we had for AQ40 as well. Is what were we gonna do with the melee outside of the room and then running back in and out? Or were we gonna do it with melee inside the room and just slapping the boss for whatever it did to get the frost attacks going? And we actually stuck with the tactic where we had all the warriors equipped frost damage weapons and get as many frost attacks going off on the bosses as fast as we could.
4 engineers. That's pretty good. I think it's a feat. The first time killing this boss, and even today, I mean, killing it with so low numbers of engineers, pretty good.
Yeah, I just opened it as well, and we only had 4 mages at the time.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Sorry about that. Okay. What was the most difficult boss in there in AQ?
I think the kill to death ratio on Uro is our worst.
Oh,
Uh,
this is interesting. You're the first one that tells me that.
yeah, it's just the execution was never good enough actually, and we didn't actually take the time to fix that issue. I think with the
Okay.
with the running out to not get the whirlwinds in the raid, and you know, some people just did it well, and too many didn't, and that ended us costing us some wipes there. And I think we also killed him the least somehow.
Okay. Were you running, because I know there's multiple strat, tanking wise, warrior tanking, or even warlock tanking in. Did you add that kind of strategy, or it was just tanking as normal with warriors and everything?
I think so, yeah. Dex, we didn't have, we tried it once or twice with the warlock, but we ended up going back to, I think, our druid tank, right, Dex?
Yeah, we tried several times with the Warlock spamming Searing Pain and the mages that were high on threat moving to the side. But in the end, I think we kind of just brute forced it. We just like we tried to watch it. We tried to do a warrior rotation and everything else. But in most of the time, it was just, especially at the beginning, it was really hard for warriors to get back up there in terms of threat if you weren't through protection, and then even if you were still competing with all the rogues and warriors that like weren't running to reset their threat, and so like I think it's the boss with the highest count, and that's just because one thing goes wrong, he turns to the raid, everybody goes spinning, and it's a lot of damage, and if you have those twice in a row, it's actually really hard, and uh, yeah, we never cared much for optimal setup, so we had more than once where we had like 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9 dead warriors or melees at the ground in the first 30 seconds because they just over aggro, they didn't run out, they just got like fucking stomped, they didn't watch the threat meter, and that was definitely the hardest part, making sure that people understood the fight, how what is the radius of the blast, where can you stand when it is safe, where should you stand, where shouldn't you stand, and that was, I think that was causing more issues for us than the spreading on Kutun.
Was those same carpet warriors, right?
Yeah, it's all the same warriors. I like from the beginning, from the start of Molten Core all the way till now, we have 6 warriors that are still with us, and they're just
Six
moving
skulls.
carpets. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the best part is when they came and joined us, and that is back in Black Lair or Molten Core, they were like, okay, after how many sun discs can I start DPS, or after how many seconds can we start DPS on the bosses? And the people that were in the guild for longer just laughed in their faces, and they're like, we don't fucking wait for threat, we just fucking smash. And that is one of the things they took over very fairly quickly, and that resulted into a wipe of the raid more than once because they were greedy for DPS.
I mean, you don't tell that to a warrior twice, right? Saunders, no, just go full
Yeah,
DPS, and I'm sure every warriors get an erection right away when you
yeah.
say that to them. I mean,
Yeah, like they didn't ask me because I would have told them otherwise. But it's like that's like we just live and die. Like we run in, we smash, we slap, and then we die, and then we get a battle rest, and then we go again until we die. And it's like either we kill the boss or we die again. It's like it seems to be working for them. They still have money, so
But yeah, this is where we get into the juicy stuff, I guess. Is that stretch of time between the release of AQ and the opening of Nux in December
yes,
is where the raid fatigue sets in for
that's true. Yeah,
not
yeah,
only
that's true.
officers but the players, the raiders, and as raiders on the side, we see a struggling officer team. has difficulty maintaining their their composure and bringing that 100%, just like the Raiders. And we are aware that they had a lot of work up until that point, and two of them, maybe three of them, actually called it quits. One just had enough, and another had a bit of a conflict with Dex, and it's not worth going into. But and some other officers. But so the officer team pretty much shattered a bit, and that was also the point where one of our best healers players also decided they didn't like the direction that was going, so that they decided to move to a better guild. And well, but we still kept on going, and that's where at some point when the officer actually stopped, I was asked to become an officer. This was at the end of November there.
Okay.
And which when I accepted, and I just wanted to raid, but you got a group of friends playing together for a year now, and we all have the same goal. We want to enjoy Classic and bring it to a successful end and kill everything. And it would be a shame to give up, to let it break. So in that sense, to use Dex's favorite word, in that sense, I decided, I wanted to help him because Dex is the center, in the sense that he's the guy, he's the face of the guild, he's the inspiration and the joy for a lot of players to keep playing in this guild. And Dex was with a few others. He had a way out. He found a nice alliance guild and started raiding there, and he enjoyed it. And it was his maybe flight is a big word, but it was his in my opinion, his way to get some R&R from the guild. And I didn't like that, just because I was afraid that our hard guild would shatter there. A sanctuary, yeah. And so it was either that step up. Some people have to step up, and even though the new team, because with every new raid team you have the strengths and you have the cons, and this new raid team or this officer team with me included would have new cons and new strengths. And but we couldn't let it break there, and just had to pick up the slack and see what we can change and address our issues, and that's what we did actually.
What was your first? What did you wanted to do when you became an officer? Obviously, I think you were doing stuff already in the background, but having the position as an officer, being outside of the officer, you saw some things. So what was the first action for you to say, this is what I'm gonna do to improve maybe the morale of the troops, to improve our raid, to improve whatever needs improving?
Well, there was a lot of preparation that needed to be done. For one, figuring out what we need to get the guild ready to go through next. Whether it's materials to craft your frost gear, or whether it's getting enough idols ready so you can actually get your gear to get the enchants. Because at the time there was so much fatigue, and there was no they weren't really recording what people got, so people ended up getting a lot of double items or double idols, and that was causing some frustration with me and some others. And so the first thing I did was try to get a scheduled idol farm run on the go, so we could work ahead and getting a lot of idols already in the groups on the player. So when the items were farmed in Max, we could immediately enchant them. And with Dex, I worked on tactics, And I'm the first to say I'm not. Neither of us is really the best at tactics. That's something our officer team really lacks, and I would love to get someone that suits our team, that's really good in jamming down those tactics for the guild. And but we did our best, and I think we did good enough. But talk about Dex about next later. But yeah, and we got another officer, which is a healer, because two main healers left. So the healers needed to be organized. We lost three main priests, I think, and one shaman, and so something had to be done because we had to recruit a lot, and Dex actually did a great job in finding people that could fit those roles.
Was the recruitment difficult at this point? Because you said it, and end of AQ, just before, like I don't know, maybe the month before Nax was a really, really difficult time. I think it was the first wave of guild quitting, and it's sad, just before Nax. The first wave of guild quitting before Nax, and late in Nax, that was the second wave. But the first wave was there. Was it hard at that point to actually recruit good healers and good people you needed?
And I like to, because what's his name from Spire actually said that. Cowslap, yeah. He said, yeah, we can always teach people how to play, and that's exactly what we did. We got people that were excited to join us. We had some connection with Dex's Pugging and Dex helping out, and some other guilds helping out Grumpy Old Gamers, and some other connection. And Dex got those people, and we had a main rogue re-rolling, willing to play priest, and actually start teaching those people and taking charge in that. So maybe for some it wasn't, to be frank, the players didn't always have the level that we expected, but we did our best to make sure we got them into shape so we could keep that guild rating.
To bring them,
and we did it.
Yeah, to bring them up to par as quickly as possible, as possible as it was, so that you can get the ball rolling, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I would just like to add, like, Flor pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's like AQ40 for me, and I think for a lot of other guilds, you say it's towards like a month before next. I think it's a little bit before more than a month. I think it's the last 3 months of the AQ before Naxxramas came out. We didn't know when yet, and that was definitely one of the points for me. As a person, but also for the guild as a whole. And I know several other guilds that were definitely struggling to maintain composure, to make sure that we could keep raiding, that make sure that everybody kept coming. Because what would you do if people dropped out, or people didn't want to play as much, or people want to take a day off? And one of the things that we always maintained was a very small raiding roster. So we I think we spoke with in person about it before. It's like we had somewhere around between 35 and, let's say, 35, 38 raiders, and then we had some casuals or some friends of friends filling up the groups, and to make sure that we had a full 40-man raid. But more often than not, we actually raided with like around 37 or 38 people. And then if people didn't show up, it was definitely one of the hardest moments, because, like, you asked about recruitment as well. Recruitment throughout Classic has been hard for everyone, and for every guild as well. And I think, I'm not sure if it has been said before, but when a guild was breaking apart or where it was showing cracks, then the vultures were already they people knew if you were struggling, people knew what was going on, people knew if people were unhappy, and then we never maintained we never went into the poaching business, and all the guilds did. Well, good for them, but that was that can be game breaking. And then if you lose some core people, like we lost some people that wanted to go to a more organized and guild, which we can understand because that it was the mentality they wanted to have. It's like they're saying fishing in an empty puddle. I say the recruitment pool was drier than the Sahara Desert. It was just kind of it has always been for several guilds to wait for the next guild to break up and then see what you can pick off from the scraps and go from there. One of the many things that we actually did with the guild from the start, even all the way till the end, is that we always work together with other guilds to see if we can find people at home. At the start, Omen disbanded, so we took in some people from Omen during Molten Core. Towards Black One Layer, Virus disbanded. We took in some people from Virus. In AK40, Mythology disbanded towards the end. That's where so we took in some people from Mythology. And now, when doing Naxxrama's Prophecy of Hellscream disbanded, we took in some people from Prophecy of Hellscream. Grumpy disbanded. We took in some people from Grumpy. It's just like we had friends all over the place, and we always wanted to see where we can help people, to help all the guilds. So we did cooperating. If we had enough people, we did cooperating with alts and then other people's mains to see that everybody could keep going. And AQ40, it's just a terrible instance. We always say the person that designed it belongs into a psychiatric hospital because man, how can you create something and still have a sane mind? It's like it's terrible in every possible way. And um well, like Floor said, it was we had some issues within the guild as well, between the officer team, and some people left, some people call it quits, some officers decided to take a break. And I, for one, and I think many of the guildies are as well, are really happy that Floor and some other people, even though they don't have the officer rank, really stepped up and decided, like, hey, we want to continue with this little gang of idiots. We want to continue and go into Naxxramas, and we want to finish Classic with the same people that we started it with. And yeah, in the end, we managed to.
No.
Before one question I forgot before we jump into the Plat de Résistance Naxxramas. No Scarab Lord in sentence?
We tried, but we were too small. We had one of our players. He wanted to go for it, and we quickly found out that we were behind. We didn't have the people to maintain a 24/7 presence to keep farming the scarabs or the shells. And what we actually did when we realized is I had a chat with several guilds how they were doing. And because I've always been talking with the people from the muffin vendor, still help them in a heartbeat if they need people. I told them as well, like, hey, we have this amount of shells or scarabs. Willing to we're not gonna make it, so we will pass them over to you guys. And I'm not sure if it was sold or if it was just given, but we passed them on to them. We continued with a certain group. We continued farming to see if we can get the rep, and we helped them do the whole quest chain of killing mobs, killing dragons, farming crystals, everything else. And even though the person didn't make Scarab Lord, in the end, he still completed the whole chain. So we still did everything, just not in a time period of like 3 days, like a bunch of sweaty nerds.
Indeed, it is a demanding quest. I'm actually surprised that he still did everything, the whole quest line after the fact. So that's pretty cool.
We did it twice.
Okay, everything twice?
Yeah. We did certain parts more often than once, but we at least did it twice. and we helped some other guilds do their part. So if they needed some more people, like we need some more people, and then I would like scoot like 5 or 10 people into the raid just to fill them up, and so they could kill all the mobs. But like for example, the farming the dragons in Ashenville or Hinterlands or Feralos or whatever, they all had this nasty requirement that I needed to die in order for a shell to drop, or like the thing that they needed to drop. Like literally, we were farming that place for like 6 hours, and then I ran off. I tank a mob. I wasn't fast enough, and I just squash. I die. Afterwards, they kill the mob, and the item that they need drops. So we're like, oh sweet, we finally have this one. We're gonna move over, and then I think I got feared or knocked back into something else. And in Feralos, I died like in the first 5 minutes. Bam, instant quest drop. I'm like, I'm not gonna continue this. So like yeah, we did it twice, and we had some interesting and funny moments along the way of people being knocked back into certain dragons, people dying to over aggro, falling damage, everything else.
Sentence, remember that if you need some good RNG, if there's a piece of loot you want in TBC, sacrifice Dex.
Yeah. I won't say the name of our healing. I won't say the name of our healing channel, but I definitely didn't make it.
You're fucking TBC, my friend. I'm sorry. Okay. Anything else you want to add about that? That phase 5, that shit AQ. I think we all agree on this. Any funny moments actually in AQ? I'm sure there's plenty.
Well, no, it's not just AQ, but it's AQ. You get a lot more mind controlled, and we have this player called Naki. It doesn't matter if he got mind controlled in Molten Core or Blackwing Lair the Orb at the Razor Gore, or if he got mind controlled at Nefarian or in AQ40 by one of the enemy mobs. If he got mind controlled, no matter how often we yelled, "Don't kill Naki," he would instantly die. Like if he got mind controlled, he was a dead man. There's nothing we could do to save him, and that's how we coined the term small PP, because apparently that's the Finnish word for small PP is Naki. Therefore, if you kill Naki, small PP. And if he gets mind control, he's a dead ass. He's like we know it, he knows it, and he's like, oh god, and he's literally praying before the raid, that hoping that he doesn't get mind control, because we never stop doing it, and we just can't stop ourselves.
So he's also a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, we actually have one of our healers as well. Then we were doing AK-40, I think, or she was complaining why her healing was so shit. And then halfway during the instance, she actually found out that she was walking around with anathema instead of benediction. So that was like complaining, venting in the channel, like looking at logs and everything else. And then it's like, oh god, never mind, guys. I put my staff in the wrong form.
It's beautiful. And it's not like the staff, is big and black and.
No. It's like nope. It's we have no idea why she didn't see it. Like we speculate why, but she was probably too busy brushing her teeth during the raid and making sure that everybody on Discord was listening.
Somebody saying Nike lives matter.
Lies.
Okay, next. Let's have it from Flor's point of view. Next, so now you're an officer in charge of, let's say, the everything goes smoothly, the background man. How did you approach next? The last raid, the raid of Classic. How did you approach it?
I think first we obviously knocked our acts together as soon as possible. Like when I got promoted, like Dex, we got together and started working on those tactics to learn the fights as well. Because when you prepare those things, you start learning the fights, And yeah, the main things that obviously comes up: where do you start? Which wing do you start? And at first thing we discussed is patchwork is the benchmark. So let's go patchwork first, and if we succeed, then we can be proud of our DPS benchmark, and otherwise we need to fan out in the other wings and get our gear level up, and so that's pretty much what actually happened. So we went to patchwork, died hard, and then went for north and stuff like that.
Wait! You die hard? You died?
Yeah.
You died? You didn't kill patchwork?
No, we did not.
Okay.
No. We this is already where the mentality went. I think even better than before, and a lot more consumables.
Okay.
Not as much as we would like, and but I think we agreed on Dex that we didn't enforce it at the time. Full work loss, full consumes, but most people brought that for the first weeks definitely, which was pretty great actually, and we were all pretty fired up to go.
I'm gonna ask, but you did not went it there at midnight at the release.
No,
right?
Sunday again.
Sunday again.
Yeah.
So you went in the Sunday, did not kill Patch. You went to not. How did it go from not killing Patch, losing all world buff, losing everything, and going another way? How did it went from there?
Yeah, so we one shot not after that, which isn't a surprise for most guilds. Then we went to Hagen, and I don't remember a lot from it. I just know we had too many deaths and was too chaotic.
Cannot dance?
No, they could not dance. No Southern European blood in them at all.
Yeah, the hardest part at Hagen was that we had to teach all these fucking 685-year-old people to how to move and how to like not like fucking click and move, how to heal while moving, and which position to stand, and yeah, once they understood that they like I literally told them to put follow on me, and then they would put follow on me. It's just so they would survive the dance, because otherwise they like in the beginning they just didn't know the positioning.
No, people would will put follow on you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And then they like and then now they just still do it because it's easy, and if they die it's my fault. So it quickly became a meme as well. So all the old people that were too slow to react, they just put follow on me, and it still goes from now on that like they're like, oh, you know what, I don't have to do this dance, I'll just put follow on Dex, and just if I die it's his fault instead of my own.
Oh, I made a boo-boo. We actually cleared Spiderwing first with world buffs, and then we tried the patchwork to touch step in.
Okay.
That makes more sense actually. So yeah, so we cleared Spiderwing without wipes, it seems, and yeah, then we failed on the benchmark, and then we ended the night on wiping twice on Hagen.
On Hagen, okay. So your next time going in was a reset, right? Because that was a Sunday, and you went back on the Wednesday. You went back to patch, I'm guessing. How did it go this time?
No, we decided to do the same thing, do world buffs, and obviously, and do Spiderwing.
Okay.
I'm gonna open it this time to double check. Yeah, do Spiderwing, and then we did Vesuvius, and we wiped twice, and I think that was just the two priests we completely prepared with gear and hit and stuff, and there were some mistakes on the mind controller, learning the mind controlling, pretty basic stuff and normal for every guild, but we killed them the third try.
It's you can't really blame anything or the priest on Vesuvius. It's such a shit fight. There's a learning curve, and it is what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. But to add on that one, we were actually one of the first guilds to kill Gothic, because we went first on a Sunday. I think we did four or five bosses, and then we went back on Wednesday and we did Spiderwing, and then we went to Vesuvius. We finally did kill him, but wiped on Gothic. And then the Sunday after, so after 3 raid days, we actually managed to kill Patchwork, Grobolus, Glut, Thaddeus, and Gothic.
Okay.
And then we actually went. Where did we go?
Yeah, so this is the first full raid weekend that is Gothic without World Boss. And I think that's where we got one of the first that did that without World Boss, which is pretty cool.
Which one you did? Sorry, with
Gothic.
Oh, Gothic without world buff. That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, so that's 10 bosses in the first full week. So that's the second week. 10 bosses.
Which?
Yeah, and
continue. No, continue. Continue your progress.
Yeah, and that's where things got
we had a shit week. We had one shit week.
Yeah.
And that's actually quite funny, because we had a shit week and people were frustrated because we wiped on Anubra Khan, and what's so hard? We did this before. Focus, yada yada, and stuff just wasn't going the right way. We lost Wolbas, and we actually had one of the persons that were he was challenged, like, why are you complaining so much? If we're too shit for you, just leave the guild. And he fucking left the guild and the raid on the spot. And yeah, it happened. We all embraced, okay, we had a shit raid. He left the raid. We went again. We killed the boss. And then afterwards, it actually turned out to be one of the week after. It turned out to be one of the best weeks for us, because I think we went up to 12 or 13 bosses. No.
Yeah, there's still some weeks in between, but the moment I described where we lost our main healers, some main players, that we were still recovering from that, and this is where the two healer officers stepped in and started working on them. We started prioritizing gear to them, not only because they needed it, but also because those tier 2 drops were actually good for priests and not for mages and warlocks. So we could actually focus on them, and they did a great job just organizing that and getting these people up to shape. And but that was the January month, and that was frustrating for a lot of people. And that's where one guy actually G quit on the spot, and that was something we had to get through, and it just a lot of agony.
When when stuff like this happen, it's not, most of the time. Obviously, the person quitting sucks because it's someone you've been playing with for a long time, but it's not exactly the action of quitting, but more of the morale of everybody. Yes. Else, this is what is actually hurts, right?
Yeah, this is also the point where you actually start questioning: are we good enough? Are we gonna do this? And and an officer actually whispered by another guild master, well, there's a spot here because you're never gonna clear Nux, and yeah, that happens.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. I mean, it is what it is, right? So what did you do to get out of that sticky situation, let's say?
Yeah, just the points where we got stuck. Just try to figure out where the faults are, obviously, and try to improve. And that's actually, I would say, low tap is one, right, Dex? Where we wiped quite a few times.
I think we had 2 sessions, and then we really went hard with World Boss because we never went there with World Boss.
Yeah.
So we like, and that's pretty much what we did on all the harder bosses, is where we saved them, and then we could have a practice night or two with full like with no world boss, but still use consumables to see how far we could do it. And I don't think we spent more than two. Where we killed everything, where we killed 10 bosses, and where we started focusing on the specific ones. Like Hagen, I'm pretty sure we got 11, 13 fairly quick, and then it was lower tap and lower tap. We killed 11 bosses. Then we spent a night on lower tap, and then we spent a second time on lower tap, improving things. And then afterwards it was the kill, and then we went on to Four Horsemen, and we had the same thing. I know Four Horsemen actually went quite well, I think, when we actually did the fight.
Yeah, yeah. I've written down here that in next week 5 we had 12 out of 15. So that's the beginning of January.
I think a lot of the, let's say, struggling guild, not struggling, but you know what I mean. A lot of these guild, and I was part of one. Actually, I was part of two. They would that would be the mentality or the tactics. Like if you struggle with a boss so much, just come back with world buff because it is the meta, because you can just fucking run through him with world buff.
For us, sorry. For us, it was not so much that we needed the world buffs. For us, it's just like that we needed people. Like now, they read the guides, they seen the videos, and they needed to experience it. And for a lot of people that we have in the guild, like I said, they come from all kinds of different guilds, and we kind of molded them into players of sentence. And they need to see for themselves. They need to understand the fight. And we didn't need wall buffs to kill everything. It makes it easier, yes, but we don't need it. But we do need people to understand the fight. So, for example, the skinny dipping on patchwork doesn't work if shamans are chain healing. On Grobolus, one job you have to do is don't over aggro, because when he turns to the raid, you're gonna have 60 or to 40 blobs instead of one. On Gluth, the tanks need to make sure that they don't run too far away from the healer straight away. Make sure you jump down, position him, and then after the first move, fear you move him. And so every boss needed a certain moment, and needed a wipe or two to learn. And people needed to be given that chance. Like we had tryhards complain. I'll just call them tryhards for now. We had people complain about people being idiots because they still weren't understanding a fight, but those same people were falling down the pipe on the way to Gluth. And it's like and then it's like that was the hardest thing. Like people knew they needed to step up and that we needed to improve as a guild, but they were kind of impatient about how fast they wanted to do it. And we were for a long time after, like we were fairly quick on 11 out of 15 or 12 out of 15, but people were getting impatient because we were competing with guilds that were raiding 3 days a week, and we were competing with them as a small guild that nobody heard of. And we so that was kind of a competition they enjoyed, and they wanted to push how far we can go and see if we were better than them. And that is where the culture, the mentality clash came a little bit back. And in the beginning of January, we had the moment where we just said, like, we had a person leave, and because they were like, oh, I can do better. But we just had a chat with people, like, hey, we need everybody to improve. Everybody needs to understand it. If you don't understand, and talk to people. If you have questions, and talk to people. If you think that one of your guildies or your classmates is not performing up to par, talk to them, see what they're doing, see where they can improve, and like do this together. And we had a kind of motivational speech about it. And then afterwards we had pretty much from that moment onwards, we have had amazing rates on the Wednesday where we did like close to let's say 8 bosses and then 9 and then 10 and then every at a certain moment we were killing 10 bosses on Wednesday, and then we had two bosses on Sunday, lower tab and 4 so we had to finish our wing and then go for lower tab to practice, and we were getting more and more time on the bosses to learn, and that is specifically what people needed, because a lot of people that came were either never played vanilla, never played got part to past a certain part in vanilla, and they didn't know how hard Nux was going to be. Like one mistake, and if it's the wrong mistake, can actually result in a raid wipe. Oh, I don't have my buffs. Is it important? As a melee, it's very important to have all the buffs because of the massive gain you get from it. Do you need them? No, but if you don't have them, everybody needs to turn the shit on and go hard. And if you then have people slacking or being lazy or not caring, yeah, that frustrates other people. And that was definitely, I think, it still is for the guilds that are progressing. Is that is what makes it really hard for every guild. It's like some people really want to go hard, some people can't go hard for whatever real life reasons they have going, or they just simply can't play as much. And we just said like, stick together, stay with us, and make sure everybody is doing their part to improve. And
Yeah.
together we can do it, and we managed to do it. It took some time. We didn't make the race compared to the guilds that were raiding 3 days a week, but in the end we still did it, and that was our priority over being in a race with who's gonna kill it first.
Yeah, and a bit of self-reflection is that at the moment this current officer team sometimes experience a groundhog day when learning a fight, and we weren't always able to nip the problems in the butt when we were raiding. So that pretty much meant that when we went there for the second time after the horrible wiping, we had the time to analyze stuff, and we were able to correct some of the problems. And I regret that we couldn't do that the first time because yeah, we didn't see it, or
We,
uh,
we could have done it faster, and that's like what Floor says. That's the little area where we would like to see, because where we can improve as a team, because we can't do everything, we can't see everything. We're already used to a certain way to each other, and then we had, like, for example, we had some fresh blood join the guild, and he was trying to improve the smallest detail about fights that already weren't an issue. You should put your totem here. You should stand over there. You should improve this. Everybody should get this profession. And we were never a guild, or we never had the mentality to min-max the living shit out of everything. We focused on playing what people wanted, with no need for optimal setup, no need for optimal spec, but you don't need it if you do what is needed. To kill the boss. If you know the preparation, if you bring the consumables, we heard guilds that were progressing on lower tab that didn't make shadow protection potions mandatory. Well, good luck on lower tab. So it's like we gave everybody the time to learn, and in the end we didn't really spend more than 2 raid days per boss. But I think that is something for us as an officer team that we should see if we can make that improvement time faster for the next time around it happens, where we only spend one night on a boss, and then go from there.
I feel there's something that you're saying that I feel today that people are forgetting. Like you said, that people were getting mad, and because you guys spent two days on a bus. What happened? You guys played vanilla. You guys played TBC. You know, back then, wiping close to 100 times on some buses was not rare. It was something that probably a lot of guild, most of the guild, were doing back then. I think we're kind of forgetting that nowadays. We want something easy, something we can kill in one night, and so on and so forth. Why? Because it's a 15-year-old game. I can understand that part, but at the end of the day, stuff can still be hard, and there's still a learning curve. And if it takes you more than 10 kills, than 20 kills, so be it. I mean, this part of learning. This part of being a unit, a raid team, right?
I agree completely with you. I think and that's my opinion. I think it mostly has to do with the retail mentality. Personalized loot, no more working together. If something goes wrong, it's everybody else's fault except my own. Of course, you still have guilds that work together, but it's like it is the teamwork and the doing it together and achieving the goals together what makes it made it really great 15 years ago, and that is what makes it really great now. Like I was more satisfied with a boss kill that we spent 2 days wiping on, for example, Sephiron, than on the KT kill that we just stomped into the ground after one night, 3 tries, and then the next day we came back and we stomped them. And Sephiron was the real end boss. That's what everybody said. But like
Okay.
people learning the fight, people making mistakes. Like we have seen everything in going wrong at Sephiron that could go wrong. And so you have the cleave being changed. You have people, all the ice blocks on one side, people that are being ice blocked because they weren't sure about how far they should move, being all the way at the edge of the room, so you couldn't even hide behind the ice block. You know, like people were doing it perfectly. They just really weren't aware of the perimeters of how far they can go or how far they can push it and what is possible. And I think that is the biggest thing, that people give people the time to learn. And if you give people the time to learn and accept that everybody can make mistakes and everybody is allowed to make mistakes, then you're gonna have that's what we have an amazing group of people with the patience to help each other, with the willingness to help each other. And uh, we don't need to be first as long as we're having fun. And as long like I got a message last Wednesday, Dark Moon Fair Week. We it went great. We killed 12 bosses, but in terms of quality, it went fucking shit. Mages were over aggroing with ignites. All the melee died on Hagen. It was amazing. It was a very fun night. People were the spirits were up. People were enjoying it. But in terms of performance of execution, it was a minus 15. But after people died, they picked up the spirits. They went in. We had a rogue, Gressel, DFT, the whole shebang. The fucking retard died on the first fucking trash mob in Naxxramas. And like, oh my god, what are you doing on the first trash pack? Dying.
There's one thing. There's one thing. I think it's Flor that said it. When you have a shit week, like one of those shit weeks that you rarely saw as a raid, as a unit, as a guild, most of the time the week after is really really good because people remember, because they want to do more, they want to improve, and so on. I think this is, every guild is like that. I have experienced it in Clownwagon, I've experienced it in OK, I've experienced it in Inferno. I'm sure every guild is the same. When you have a shit week, the week after is really, usually most of the time, is really really good. You also said something. The real end boss is Sephiron. Do you still believe it today?
No, because once you know how it works, it's actually not that hard, but you just need to do it. I think the real end boss, and it's not necessarily a boss. I think the hardest part about Classic as a game is creating a community and keeping it together. Everybody can join a guild, kill a boss, and get something out of it. But I think the real achievement, the real goal for many of the people playing classic at the moment, is the nostalgic feeling of doing things together. Yes, we haven't wiped for 100 times at a certain boss, but we still got close to it. We still did it together. Like I still remember some people walking around at level 46 doing Marauding together, and now we're actually beating the end boss into the game, and that gives me more pleasure knowing that I've walked him beside for pretty much since leveling, and that he still manages to surprise me with doing stupid shit in dungeons. That is still like no matter what we do, we manage to make it memorable, and be it pulling an extra trash pack, being a death rolling against each other, um, just the city stuff, and that is the stuff that well, at least but I think most people remember of doing molten core, like the old days. Make a circle around Geddon and make sure you don't blow anyone up, and the closest thing that we had to a circle was a square, because people didn't know how a circle looks. Like we regularly, like, okay, you are tanking the triangle, and then like the slapping the moon. Like, what are you doing? I'm tanking the moon. I'm like, I just told you to tank the triangle. What are you doing? And then like me org, me smash. It's like it's how long have you been playing now? We have I can almost tell a story about every guild member going around, and it's not like if I ask them to do a specific job, they will do it. They will do it so well. But if I ask them to do one specific thing, and that is to think for themselves, they all just fucking shit their brains out, and they pull the dumbest stuff that I've ever seen. And that is what makes it great for me. That is the real end game, the achievement that I wanted to make, and that is something that I made and got from all the people within the guild. So that is I achieved what I wanted to achieve from classic. I will keep going to. We will keep raiding. I think we're one of the few guilds that actually keeps raiding to make sure that everybody can get what they want in terms of gear pieces, gear sets, and everything else. And to just have that fun. For me, it doesn't matter if we're doing Molten Core or Naxxramas, as long as we're doing stupid shit, wiping together and laughing about it.
Do you have an Etiche?
We have two.
You have two? That's...
Well, actually, we have three. We have an import ATS, but he's still trial, so we don't know if we're gonna keep him.
Okay.
Yeah, walking around in a raid with poop
That's
on a
a joke,
stick.
but yeah.
What raid do you guys still do today?
Everything.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with Sentence, that when the grind was in IQ, people were happy to just do IQ and nothing else, and they happily have a Sunday off, and that discipline to finish all the important content in the week. It's hard to keep them focused doing that, and they're perfectly happy spreading 2 days, the 2 raid days next, and the one clear day. I don't think it's on most people's lists of desired.
Okay, so it's a chill back raiding on 2 days, clear Nax in 2 days.
I think
doing that, yeah.
I think we can, but we're not in a rush. Do we still want to enjoy everything? And right now, for example, we go Patchwork, we go Grobulus, we go Glut, we go Thaddeus, and then we go to Plague Wing up until lower tab, and then by the time we get to Military Wing, which is around 9 o'clock, 9:15, people just go full retard on Discord, and then we have the Murloc songs, we have Dub talking about fisting, we have the Russian jokes going around. It goes from one way or another, and then people talk about these amazing barbecues, and then it's this person talking like, oh, I can't come because I'm a vegan, so I don't have anything to eat, and we just remove him from the raid and keep going because fuck vegans. And the focus is in the first two wings, and that is like Patchwork, lower tap, and then afterwards people are just happy to go more casual, to go relaxed, and to enjoy a little bit more casual. We still do everything we need to do, but it's just a nice time. It's 2 days a week that we have everybody together, and then just doing stupid shit.
What's
People,
next? Go.
I was gonna say, people in this guild know what the next step is, the joining the consang and what that means for them when it comes to playing this game, and they don't want that, so they're content with where they are, most of them.
The experience, the yeah, I see what you mean. What's next for Sentence? TBC is coming. Is Sentence going to be in TBC?
Yes. If I have anything to say, yes, but it depends on the people if everybody wants to stay. But I do think we had some people say that they're never gonna leave this guild until they die, and it could be very soon because they're like 600 years old. That's how they sound at least. And let's hope it's a lot longer. For TBC, we definitely have plans, but we just have to see if it's gonna be a one team, two teams, or people just want to go to take a chill. Like, hey, if I can raid, nice. If I can't raid, no, it's fine as well. The first phase is Karazhan and Gruul and McTiernan anyway, so you don't like it's not massive content. It doesn't bring you the best shit, so it's people like they make a big mess out of it. Let's first see how many people get there, and of course we want to keep as many people within the guild. Um, and in terms of TBC, what do we? Yeah, uh, I would like to see the guild keep going. But the thing I'm looking forward more is to the end of Corona, so we can have a guild event. Everybody gets wasted, and then we have a weekend of with the stuff we can't remember what we did, and then we see these amazing pictures back on the Discord, and we're never gonna talk to each other again.
It's just that core group of 30 plus some people that came to join us with each tier, that showing up every time, doing a lot of work, handing out consumes. Till this day, until the very end, they're still handing out loads of consumes to people and making sure we are successful in there. And that's just the spirit of our guild, and that's what keeps us going. And we enjoy playing together. And yeah, it's a good thing.
Dex, are you still gonna warrior in TBC?
I'll play whatever is needed for my guild in TBC. I actually initially I wanted to go priest, and they were like, "Nah, nah, we got enough healers. We're leveling with these people. Just pick your warrior. Then we have at least one solid tank." And I've always played my warrior. The only boss I haven't killed on my warrior is actually Sephiroth because I keep relogging to my priest. Um, but I'll play what is needed for the guild because for me, I think the guild wants me to reroll, for example, because I do these amazing pulls with a double gargoyle pack or the gargoyle and the AoE casters and the double weapon packs before Gothic, and like they just love those packs that everybody just falls to the floor from laughing and then runs back to their corpse. So like I'm not sure why they want me to reroll, but I actually don't know. For me, it's the situation is between protection warrior and enhancement shaman.
Yeah, because warriors, I mean, prot warriors is yeah. There's anyway the meta that we know today is one prot warrior, one arms warrior, maybe one fury warrior. That's pretty much it. We'll see if that meta change. We had a good discussion today about that, and there's a lot of people on one side saying no, this is the meta. A lot of the other people on the other side saying no, the meta will change, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be interesting anyway in TBC. Flor,
I agree with. Oh, sorry.
no,
Before you go to Flor,
yeah,
I agree with you. It's going to be interesting, but people should look beyond the meta of optimal setup and how the raid should look like, and look at the players you have, because you can have the optimal setup, but if you have a bunch of retards, you're not gonna get far. And if you have players, good players, players that players that you want, regardless of the class they play, regardless of the optimal setup, you can still achievement. It's still always the player before the optimal setup and the class.
And who you want to have fun with. Who you want to have fun with, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Flor, mage in. I'm guessing you're gonna be stay mage.
Plan.
We did not hear you there.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's a plan. Perfect. Are you any of you want to do some PvP arenas maybe?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely looking for you in the arenas.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
like
for me as well. Like we tried the occasional PvP group with the guild, and like it's always good fun. We played some games, and like we still group up with other guilds as well, and the PvP is gonna get better. I just hope they will improve the queues one way or another. It's like the arena is gonna be a very good thing, but the queues are just too insane at the moment to even be interesting. Like 20 to more than 20 minutes for a BG is just it spoils the fun.
On Battleground, yeah, I totally agree with you. That's why I don't PvP today. I mean, Battlegrounds is fucking stupid to wait 20, 30, 40 minutes to get match with a fucking pre-made, get stomped on, the thing lasts 5 minutes and you're back in the queue for 40 minutes. I mean, no, thank you. Arenas is where it's going to be. It's quick, it's fast, it's 2v2, 3v3, 5v5. That's where it's going to be. Anyway, for me, the real PvP experience is there. El mano to el mano. That's the way it is. Guys, anything you want to add on this lovely evening of getting to know the guild sentence?
Well, is this questions from the crowd? Before you do any questions of the crowd, make sure you tell me their name, because then I can say if it's a guildie or not, and if it's a guildie, you should totally ignore them.
Perfect. We'll do that. Chat, prepare your question. Now's the time. Any funny moment? Oh, where is your profile? Oh, Alteika27.
Sorry, say again?
Alteika27 saying, where's your picture? Where's face cam? Totally not a guildie. Where's the face reveal?
I'll send you my OnlyFans page later on. You know, that's so everybody can have a good peek.
That's I'll take that. When will you be able to keep track?
Say again? When will I be able to do a picture?
No, keep track. Keep a group. Looks like somebody name mine 95.
Neemheim. Oh, when will I be able to keep thread? Well,
Yes.
it's I will be able to keep thread away from Neem the moment he puts a bag over his head, because his face is just so ugly that everybody turns to him and stomps him into the ground. And I can disagree.
Chat, you're looking for it. I mean, if you ask question, you're looking for it.
He just wrote to me, "Get fucked." But it's okay.
Dex is going to play shame.
Oh, that's low blow though. Professor Lady saying, well, when will you be able to keep threat from the healers? That's a
when I can date her sister.
That you're looking for it. Okay. Oh, a good one is sentence family friendly guild.
Yes. If you're 400 years plus and you can, if you are controversial, if you can be sexist, if you can be discriminatory against vegans, if you can be wrong in every possible way and have no brain, so like an IQ below 40.
Why the hate against vegan?
Because Neem is a vegan, and if he is the face of vegans, then we just have to hate it.
Okay, that makes sense. Any to finish, any good story, any funny story in Nax? We heard a few, but it was overall anything something in Nax.
Flo, do you have any, or do you want me to?
Trouble recalling.
One of the biggest memes in Naxxramas as well. It's like I forgot my cloak on Nefarian. Is I had auto walk on my keyboard, so while running back towards the other tanks for patchwork, I tend to hit my auto walk button, which makes me full move forward, which makes me puts the boss patchwork out of range of the off tanks, and that gets me squashed into the ground. And it only happened twice. So it's like
only twice?
Only twice, and then like I died on a shadow fissure because I was yelling at people, "Get out of the shadow fissure!" And then I'm like standing there. But hey, I haven't died to a void zone, so you can't clap for me.
Hey. Welcome to the club, my friend. The Fissure Club, the Void Zone
Okay,
Club.
that's okay.
An exclusive club. You have to be proud of that club.
How many people are in the Void Zone Club? That's a question I got in my guild.
Not a lot. And I feel alone. So if anybody wants to join.
Last I checked, it was one, so it's just confirmed.
Okay, guys. If nothing to add on your side, Dex and Flor. Thank you very, very much. It was super entertaining. Super. I mean, like I said at the beginning, I did not know your guild. I knew you, Dex, from an event that we did, that role event that we did together. But besides that, I did not know you. I did not know the guild sentence. I hardly knew a few people here and there. So it was really, I was coming really blind in this, getting to know you guys from the beginning. Was really cool, really entertaining. We learned a lot. I learned a lot anyway. I'm pretty sure people who will watch as well will learn. And maybe one last thing, are you guys still recruiting for TBC?
Not sure how they want me to respond, but I think they want me to say, if you are a female, yes. And you need to provide pictures, if possible. And that one is for Narcissa. No, like for TBC, as long as if you think your goals align like with ours, then I don't think we can see any issue. But however, we need to see with the amount of people we have, and if we can make something happen, because matching our goals, our vision, our strategy, and our way of having fun and playing the game. We just need to see what is possible, and if people are flexible, then everything can happen.
Guys, to everybody that will watch, if you can relate to what we learned tonight from the guild sentence, then this might be a home for you, future home for you in TBC. Yeah, contact Dex, contact Flor, either on Discord, the Mirage-Raceway Discord, or directly in game, and I'm sure they will be happy to talk to you. Guys, thank you very much. It was super entertaining. Thank you for your time. Thank you to have come on my stream. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you very much as well. It was it's great to have a person like you in the community that does this for the guilds. Awesome, man.
No, you go first.
I hope to see you guys in at the end of TBC, because I will be doing that again in 2 years at the end of TBC.
For my side, also thank you. I just want to do a shout out to all the special retards in my guild. We couldn't do this without you guys. Pretty much every one of you, with some exceptions of like the vegans and the furries and all that stuff, but I won't go into details. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for helping out where you can, and let's continue this and be the #1 guild in TBC. Let's show these noobs. Thank you for having us.
I cannot say anything more than what has been said. Guys, we are out. Thank you very much to spend the night with us.